Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new, welcome. My name is Jennifer, and for today's video I thought I would talk about my experience with laser hair removal. I've been doing it now for about a year and I'm just at the tail end. I'm probably having my last session this coming Monday, which is the day the video is going up. So I thought I would just kind of go over the pros, the cons, everything involved with the laser hair removal, and what my experience has been. So before we get started, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe down below. And you want to make sure you hit that bell notification so that way you are notified every single time I upload. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so what is laser hair removal? Laser hair removal is a treatment that you get done in a med spa, and every med spa uses different types of lasers. And the purpose of this laser is that the laser kills the hair follicle, which prevents your hair follicle from regrowing. So essentially, over time, you will be hairless. And I don't want to say you're 100% hairless because you're not always 100% hairless. Typically with laser hair removal, you will need anywhere from 6 to 12 treatments depending on how coarse your hair is, how much hair you have. So the laser that they used at the med spa I went to was called dialaze. And dialaze, from my understanding, is a very unique laser in the sense that it covers such a big area, whereas other lasers are much smaller. So you can essentially laser hair removal your legs in a quicker amount of time because it covers more ground as you do your passes. And dialaze has a cooling effect on their laser. So years ago, people would describe the feeling of laser hair removal as a snapping rubber band. And while I kind of understand that feeling now, dialaze makes it much less painful. So to be honest, when I get my legs done, it essentially puts me to sleep. I just don't feel it. Now I will say that the first 1 to 3 times I got it done, it was a little bit uncomfortable, not excruciating, but it just felt uncomfortable. I would say the pain was from like a 1 to a 10, it was maybe like a 2 or 3. I felt it, but it wasn't unbearable. I think the reason why you feel it more in the beginning is 1, because you have a lot more hair, and 2, you're not used to the feeling yet. So I noticed around treatment 4, 5, 6 that it was becoming a lot less painful, or I wouldn't notice it as much. For me personally, I got laser hair removal on my full legs. The reason I say full is because some med spas will split it up to upper leg or lower leg, but I got my full legs done. Brazilian, underarms, and upper lip. So with dialaze or any laser hair removal system, prices vary depending on the med spa. And as I mentioned previously, it depends on what type of laser they have. I remember years ago, the standard number of sessions was 10 to 12. The med spa that I went to sold dialaze hair removal in packages of 6, meaning that you would need 6 treatments to be hair free. Now the med spa that I went to, their hair removal packages were sold as 6 treatments. So essentially you would need 6 treatments to be hairless. So I think it just depends on where you go and how many treatments you need, depending on the type of laser that they use. Now pricing. Pricing can vary from med spa to med spa. I'm just going to give you guys pricing that was from my med spa and a ballpark of what I paid. I got a really good deal on this laser hair removal. I will say that it can be very expensive depending on the area that you want to do. So just to give you a little bit of backstory, I was going to European Wax Center about every 3 weeks and getting waxed. And I did have the wax passes from there, but also I did pay the straight up price. And over time, it was just incredibly expensive. So instead of spending all that money monthly, plus tipping the service provider, I just decided to stop doing that and spend the money up front and do these sessions. And when I go over pricing, I'll kind of explain it a little bit more. So remember, these are in 6 sessions. So for underarms, it was $600 for 6 sessions. It was $2,000 for the Brazilian, and for upper and lower legs, it was $2,500. So the way my med spa did it was they would split up the payments. So for example, if you're wanting your underarms done and it costs $600, they would do that $600 divided by 6. So you would essentially be paying only $100 per treatment, which it makes it a lot more reasonable and affordable. Also, I do know that they have the option where you could pay everything up front and then you just come in for your treatments. Now, I will say I did not pay these prices. When this med spa opened, or expanded, I should say, they had a huge sale on all their services. So everything from Botox, filler, laser hair removal, cool sculpting, hydrofacials, everything like that was 40% off. So I think I got 40% off of all of my laser hair removal packages. And then at the time, you had to pay at least 10% down. So not only was I spending almost half, but when it came time for each session, I think I was only paying around $350 for all 4 areas. So it was very, very reasonable. So I will say that the only hiccup I personally had with my laser hair removal is the fact that I had a reaction to the laser. So typically when you go in for treatments, the first time you go in, the laser is set on a really low setting. It just helps your body and you get used to the feeling of the laser. And then every time you go in, they turn the laser strength up more and more. And so that's how it will kill the hair follicles, so that way you don't have as much hair regrowth. Now, when I was about in my 2nd or 3rd session, I ended up having a reaction when she turned up the laser. So I will insert pictures here so you can see them. So essentially, as you're looking at the pictures, what happened to me was I almost got what you would consider like a razor burn. However, it's from the laser, so it's like a laser burn. And essentially my hair follicles just got really inflamed and they became extremely itchy. Like I was itching nonstop. It was awful. It was so irritating. And the itchiness would last almost 2 to 3 weeks. And she did prescribe me a steroid cream, which helped a lot. But because you get your laser treatments about 6 to 8 weeks apart, it was almost like by the time the itching went away, I would go back in for another treatment, and then it would just, the cycle would repeat itself. So eventually we found the highest setting I could go to without having a reaction, and we just stayed at that setting. So for me, instead of having 6 treatments, she actually had to double my treatments, and I ended up having 12 to 13 instead of 6, just because she couldn't intensify the laser every time. So if you are sensitive, that may be something to just let your PA know. I know during our first session, she did a test on me. I had no reaction. And then 2nd and 3rd session, I ended up having a reaction. Now I don't have any reaction. It's totally fine and normal. And I think too, as I did more sessions and less hair was growing back, I was having less and less of a reaction, which is great. But if I had to do it all over again, I would 100%. It has made my life so easy. I loved my treatment. And like I said, I am finishing up today, which would be the day the video is going up, which is really exciting. So a couple things to think about if you are considering laser hair removal. One, you cannot wax during your laser hair removal treatment. So in between sessions, you will have to space out your shave schedule, because when you go in for your treatment, you need the hair to have a little bit of stubble. You don't want it freshly shaven and you don't want it too long, otherwise the laser won't grab onto it. If you have blonde hair, my PA told me that it will not work with blonde hair because the laser sees darkness. So that's something to think about it as well. My PA is actually very, very blonde. So she had made the comment that she's really sad that she can't get it done because it just won't work on her. I have heard of some other lasers that if your hair is very, very dark, that it won't work on you as well. So I'm not really sure. I think every laser is different. But as far as I know, if you have dark hair, black hair, it will work. It's just for this particular laser, I was told that it won't work on blonde hair. Let me know down in the comments if you have gotten laser hair removal before and what your experience was, or if you're considering it but you have questions, feel free to leave them down below and I will answer them to the best of my ability. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe down below, and you want to make sure you hit that bell on your way out so that way you're notified every single time I upload. I do upload 3 times a week here. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope you guys had a great 4th of July weekend, and I will see you all very soon. Bye guys.